Hello and welcome to Marvel Character Talk. We're looking at some very special items today. Silver Age Hulks. We've got issues 2 through 6. Everyone here but the first issue. This was the original run of the Hulk. Ran for just 6 issues. It was bi-monthly, so it was out for a year. And then it ended. And then he'd guest star in a few Marvel comics, notably Fantastic Four. And then he'd go into Tales to Astonish, sharing the strip with Giant Man, and then Giant Man would be eased out of that, and some Mariner ahead, and then the Hulk would be in Tales to Astonish to 1968, and then they'd continue on with that numbering with issue 102, and all through his regular run of his comic. These are from 62, 63. We'll take a look at them closer in a moment. We've got issue number 2 where he's fighting the Toadman. He looks a little different on there because that has inking by Steve Ditko, so it changes the look, especially his fingers, and it might even be drawn by him, I think, by the way it looks. Number 6 is pure Ditko, and then the other 3 covers in the middle, those are Jack Kirby, and then the art was Jack Kirby, except for the last issue. Steve Ditko did ink that one, and then Steve drew and inked that one, and they're all written by Stan Lee. You can see a lot of cool blurbs on here. Some of these had just one story, and you can definitely tell the one in the middle had 2 stories. Let's take a closer look. Let's bring one closer. Number 2, 12 center. Very cool. There's the classic Hulk logo. The Terror of the Toadmen. So they were always using aliens, just like in the second issue of Fantastic Four, they met the Skrulls, but of course the Skrulls went on to be a major alien race in the Marvel Universe, and the race of the Toadmen, which I can't remember, later on they actually gave them a name for where they come from and everything. I don't know if they ever appeared again. There's General Ross. There's Betty. General, it's them, the Toadmen, they're attacking. Is it too late for the humans to stop us now? Nothing can stop us. Nothing, except the Hulk. Look at him. He's still wearing part of a shirt, which he did. You'll see that in the next issue. And then by later on, he changed that. These stories were radically different. Each one, they kind of changed. First, he changed to because of Nightfall, sort of like a werewolf or something, and then he changed for other reasons, and then Banner was working, and he had like a machine that would help him, and he was more human, less human, and of course he went from gray in the first issue to green, so this is the first green issue. That one's not in too terribly good shape. It's kind of brittle. This one's a little bit better, but not that great. This one's cool. I can't control him anymore. The Hulk has gone berserk. Yeah, they didn't have Rick Jones on that cover, but he's on some of these other covers. Look, nothing can stop him now. He can fly. This is a real classic cover. See the Hulk banished to outer space, trapped by the Ringmaster and other thrills with the most exciting original character in comics, September. Yeah, so they had 2 stories in here, and that Ringmaster, that introduces the Ringmaster and the Circus of Crime. And then he'd next show up in issue 16 of The Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 22, and onward and onward. Circus of Crime, really cool. Classic Jack Kirby. You can still see he's got part of his shirt. There's Rick Jones. We still haven't gotten Rick Jones in the MCU. He's a very important character. You'll see him all through these Hulks when you read them. And then he teamed up with Captain America in those early Avengers, and he's on the cover of a lot of Avengers, including number 8 with Kang. This is cool because they actually have 2 different covers. Fantasy as you like it. And that was a callback to the first issue where they put that on there. Mongu, Gladiator from Space. I'll give you a spoiler about that in a second. I think, I don't remember because I haven't read it in a long time. I think he might be a robot from space, but we'll see. Look at this very cool spaceship. The Monster and the Machine. That's when he was working on how to control himself with Rick. They'd have a cave. They were out in New Mexico desert. General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross, was always after Milksop Banner. This is very nice. Green, dark green, and red on a light green background. It's the same kind of light green they had on Amazing Spider-Man number 10 with the Enforcers. This one's a little worse for wear. It's got tape on it and stuff. But this introduces Tyrannus. He's another underground personage, like the Mole Man and Kala from the Netherworld. More powerful, more dangerous, more uncontrollable than ever before. Here comes the Hulk. Look at him. Look at his teeth. Kirby goodness. There's Betty Ross, Rick Jones. Two great Hulk thrillers featuring Beauty and the Beast. Slay the Monster, the name of the Tyrannus the Mighty. I think he next appear in around issue 35 of the X-Men. And he'd pop up very sporadically. He wasn't a biggie. But he wasn't just a one-shot either. There's some of his minions. Very cool. And then this one has a lot different look. This is the nicest one I have of the bunch. This is the last issue, March. The Metal Master. I think they brought him back years later, maybe once. He's another alien. Even your limitless strength cannot save you from me, Hulk. All the metal on the earth is mine to command, for I am the Metal Master. If the Hulk can't handle the Metal Master, it could mean the end of the human race. So this was just one long story. And then the Hulk story progressed with Rick Jones kind of changing how he would change, when he would change. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And then he'd have to next appear, like I said, some of the other Marvels before he'd get his own story again. A full-length epic super thriller. And you can see it changed over because he was kind of controlling his changes to wearing just a purple diaper, purple shorts, like he'd wear in Avengers. He'd only be in Avengers for 2. Very weird looking. The way Ditko did it, his hair, it kind of reminds me like a J. Jonah Jameson on steroids. Very cool. Abstract, and I like the way they changed the colors all the way down in segments. So let's look at the early Hulk run. Very nice. They've reprinted these many times so you can read them that way. Incredible Hulk, a very cool character. But look at that, he was a failed character for a little while because his book didn't continue, like I said. And he'd get his book back in 1968 and would continue on with the Tales to Astonish numbering. So these are going to be just a set thing. All you need to complete this is number 1. Alrighty, until next time, more Marvel character talk. Thanks for liking and subscribing.